Good. We good, Davis?
Yeah, go ahead. Fire away.
How was day one?
It was good. Good start. As a new CBA, it's a short practice, but no, it was a good start. Meetings were great last night. Everybody was out there, so that was fun. OTAs and minicamp didn't have the full arsenal of everybody, but having everybody out there today, seeing them in the huddle, getting reps with them, throwing them the ball, calling plays, with the O-line and all that, felt good to have that group, and hopefully we can just build on it, keep everybody healthy, and see what we can do.
Derek, what are you looking to accomplish here early in camp? Because DA says you have a pretty good grasp of the offense.
I just want to compete now. I feel, it's not a new language now. It's my language. It's our language. And so, to me, I'm just trying to be that leader. Be that quarterback position to show the guys that they can look to me when they're tired. They can look to me when it's hard, and they can, even if I screw it up, they can still look to me. And just build that camaraderie and that leadership within our team. To know that that trust and respect is mutual with everybody, and compete. That's what we're here to do. We're here to compete. We're here to beat the defense every day until we get to play somebody else. And if hopefully they don't get us, but if they do, we come back the next day and we get them again. So just that mentality to not stop is really, I would say, probably the main goal for all of us as an offense, and reps together. The more reps that we can get with everybody in that huddle, the better I think that we could be.
Yeah, what can Jimmy Graham bring to this team?
Well, besides the resume and the leadership and who he is in the locker room, he's a great guy. Jimmy was one of the guys Devontae would always talk about. That he just loved him as a person, loved him as a teammate, and I didn't even know Jimmy then. And then when we signed him, the very first thing is Jimmy was talking about how much he loved Devontae. So I was like, okay, it's mutual. They like each other. And so that was my only impression that I had of him from afar. And then yesterday we sat there and talked for 30 minutes, and we talked about Drew, Aaron, Seattle. We talked about a whole bunch of different stuff, and I had questions for him, and all that stuff, especially as a pilot too, flying around and stuff like that. So we were just getting to know him, what makes him tick. But when you get around him, you're like, you just want him in the locker room. His leadership to that tight end room, leadership to everyone on the offense. He's the first guy. Hey, if you need anything said, you tell me and I'll say it. He's that kind of guy. And so he reminds me a lot in that aspect of Lee Smith. Was that kind of leader. I played with Lee in Oakland, and he was that kind of leader. Whatever you need, I got it. And when you have a guy that has your back like that, it always feels good.
Derek, how did he feel finally a practice, rather not against Aaron, to get a completion and Michael Thomas?
Oh, it felt great. I think it was good for everybody. I think it was good for everybody. To see that, and okay, everybody take a deep breath, and now we just work. Now we just build off of it, and to be able to throw him a ball. I've gotten to throw the football to a lot of guys with a lot of catches in my career. And he's another one that's special. He's a great teammate. He works his butt off, and he's worked really hard to get to where he's at today. And so, first thing I'd say is I'm just proud of him, all the work that he's put in and what he's endured, and the injuries and the hardship. But he's fought through it, and he's answered the questions, and he's done the work, as we all know he would. And so to see him out there run a route, catch a ball, and get upfield for a big gain, I know that was good for him. But it was cool for me to see too, just out of respect for him as a person. Just see that work that he's put in.
Derek, you and Chris Olave had a nice connection over on the right sideline. How do you feel the kind of how you two are seeing the field together is growing over the course?
Yeah, I feel like now, at first it was like, hey, I see it this way, you see it this way, let's do it like this, and that was OTAs, and I kind of hit on that a little bit during OTAs and minicamp, and then we put some work in Vegas together. A group of guys came out and we did that, and now it just feels like he's my wideout and I'm his quarterback, and we're just playing football now. And of course, there's always going to be things like, hey, I thought it was this, or maybe do it like that. And there'll be a little stuff like that, but it's not every play. It's not every route. We're just playing football now. Like when he made that break, and the way he did it, the timing of it, I was ready for him. All that, those are good signs. That it's heading in the right direction. Doesn't do anything for us today, but it does show that we have put the work in. He's put the work in. He's a sponge, man. He just wants to do whatever I want him to do, And I'm trying to push him to, you be free in some of that too. Use what God gave you, because I can't do what you do. So, to see him run that route and at the right depth and all that kind of stuff, right timing, that just shows that we're heading the right direction.
Derek, it's been a couple of months now with Pete Carmichael. How would you describe your relationship with him, and maybe how is he different? Like what is like the Pete Carmichael signature that you can see at this point?
Oh man, he is the same guy every day. He's just even keel, great personality. When he walks in the room, you can't be in a bad mood. Like Pete is just such a good guy, and being around him, and you see, now that I've been around him so much time, you see how smart he is. He's like, hey, they're gonna do this, like this, blah blah blah, and you're like, wow, it happened just like he said. And a lot of guys you get around, it's easy in coaching too to, long hours, all that, to go like this, but he is like this every day. And that's something that Drew said about him. When I talked to Drew before I signed here, Drew was like, you're going to love him. He's even keel, he's smart, and all the things that Drew said, he's been all of that. And I've thoroughly enjoyed being around him. I continue to learn from him. I've been blessed to be around a lot of, really great coaches and smart coaches, and he's another one. So it's been fun.
After being here for a little bit, how do you feel kind of being out in front as a new face of this franchise, the city, the Superdome, all these different things moving forward?
Yeah, now I just feel like a part of the family. At first, my daughter was running out there today after practice, and she's like, "Touchdown Raiders!" I was like, "No, don't say that anymore." So it was still new. It's new for them, obviously, but to me, it just feels like home now. This is my home. I'm going to give New Orleans everything that I have, and that's physically, mentally, in the community. Anything that I can do to help somebody and help us win and bring excitement to the city, and help encourage some people in the city, I'm going to do it. And I've set out to do that in Vegas. I'm still doing that in Vegas because I said I would. I'm still working on things there. I'm going to do it here because I said I would. And so I'm going to do everything that I can. But I'm not going to try and help them win. I'm going to try and help us win. So.
Derek, I think a lot of people think of like the quarterback as like the go-to kind of leader on the team.
Mm-hmm.
You're talking about establishing leadership here. How do you do that when you're coming into a new organization? You're meeting a lot of new faces.
Yeah.
What's kind of the most important step?
This is my first time stepping into a new, organization, right? And so for me, I just was going to walk in and I was just going to be myself, this is me, this is, what Mickey asked me to be, he's not asking me to be anything I'm not. Mickey, when he asked me, and DA asked me to be here, they said, we want you to come here and be you. That's all I've done. And it was an easy fit because I don't feel like I have to be the leader or I have to pull everybody. Like, it's not that. We got Cam, we got Tyron, we got DeMario, we got Mike, we got Alvin. Everyone's saying doing the right things. Eric, we got so many guys doing and saying the right things that, we're all doing it together. And one of the things that I thought was cool, I asked Cam, about I said, hey, you're one of the leaders on the team. How do you feel if I come there? Like, that's one of the questions I asked Cam, before I signed here. I was like, because I want to walk into a locker room where I'm wanted, and he said, one of the very first thing he said, I'm not the leader. He said, we got a team full of leaders. And I was like, that's it. Right when he said that, I forgot what the rest of the message said. He may not even wanted me, but when I saw that, I was like, I'm coming here because he sees it the same way I do. It's like, it's going to take all of us to lead. And so I'm not trying to be the guy. I'm just trying to be one of the guys and be one of the guys doing it the right way and showing everybody else what it's supposed to look like.
Quick climate question here. I know maybe you dealt with it in Vegas as well here, but how have you seen that evolve in the NFL in terms of awareness about balancing health versus mental toughness? In training camp when the heat is in the news as like an issue that can affect health.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's one of the parts is training in it. You hopefully that guys aren't just running in air conditioning all the time and then you show up to training camp. You got to acclimate to it. I think I don't know the science behind everything, but I know it feels better when I run and throw outside in Vegas in the 115. And then when I go to practice, it felt better. And so I was doing the same thing out there. I was, working out, throwing. I was doing everything outside in Vegas, and so that when I got here, I was used to the heat. And so I don't know all the science and all that stuff behind it. I have a rec major from Fresno State, and so I do my best to understand it. But for me, I just do what our strength staff has taught us, and over the years I've seen the growth in that, though, for sure. From when I first came in the league to what we talk about now, it's definitely a difference on the things that we talk about, the way we practice, how long we do something. You know, we may stretch in here and then, how much time you're actually accumulating outside during a week and all that, and all that stuff. There's, you know, stats behind it that back it up. So we do things a certain way now. It's different.
Just a couple examples, like just water breaks, more water breaks, or what do you?
Yeah, I mean, you got to stay hydrated for sure. You know, yeah, with the heat stuff, and the heat stuff's always been around. You know, so that's one of the first things they talk about when you're in this kind of climate. You got to stay hydrated, but you don't do it just the day of. It's days in advance. Like I'm doing this for tomorrow. You know, it's not for today. You know, so you know, that's some of the things that we've just learned over time, and just keeping your body cool. You know, you got to let it sweat. You got to stay as cool as you can.
What feels more aggressive out there, the dryness or the humid?
Well, the dry in Vegas, it just feels like your skin is going to fall off. You know, it just feels like it's boiling. You know, but it's so dry. Like you can see, like in my hands, I have cracks all in my hands from throwing out there because it's so dry. Like throwing so much, it'll crack, like literally split your hands. And so, like I would have chapstick in my pocket at practice, putting it on my fingers so it wouldn't like crack and rip open. But out here, I don't need that. You know, I instantly go out there and the ball is tacky. You know, and like in Vegas, I would always spray my jersey because it was so dry there. I needed something during the game, so I'd spray water on my jersey so I had like a little something on there. Here, I don't think I'm gonna have to do that.
You mentioned working out with some of your teammates in Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
Who all came out there to work out with you?
Yeah, I won't say everybody, but there was a good group, 7, 8 guys, you know, that came out. I don't want someone like, why wasn't he there? You know, everyone has stuff, you know. But you know, a lot of guys came out, and we were in Vegas. We had a little 2-day little thing where we went to dinner one night, and we just had a good time. You know, just again, it was the work was important, but even more than that, getting to know each other. You know, letting them see me, you know, in my home and you know in my element and that kind of stuff.
When was that, Derek?
It was last week or the week before, something like that.
And it was mostly pass catchers or skill position guys?
It was just guys. Yeah.
No, but I meant like
Yeah.
that was the idea was to.
Yeah.
Derek, I know it's early in training camp here. Obviously, it's just the first day, but including OTAs, minicamp, what are you seeing from the defense and their ability to make things tough on a quarterback?
Man, I told DA, you know, after one of the minicamp days, I said I absolutely love practicing here because it's so difficult. I have to be so on it every rep. There's no like this is just going to be open. Like that doesn't happen here. You know, the way they play their zones, the way they play their mans, and you know different things. The way that how good the players are. You know how good the rush is. I have to be on time. You know I have to be accurate. You know all those things. You know you saw a play made today right on the ball. I mean it's great coverage and that's just not a layup. So now it's going to push us to even go harder. You know and so all it's doing is making us better. But at the same time, hopefully we're doing that to them too. You know, hopefully they have good coverage and we put a ball out there and they get mad at themselves. You know, because we were able to hit it and all that stuff. So, you know, as good as it's been going against them and all that, hopefully we're doing the same thing to them.
1 or 2 more.
Derek, do you remember the first game you played in the Superdome? And have you been given some thought? What's it going to be like first game in the Superdome in St. Pete?
I think it'll be a little bit more quiet for me this time than it usually is when I've been here. But I do remember the first time because all I remember is we gave Drew too much time to get down the field when we went for 2 and threw that fade to Crabtree. And so, and of course they went right down and we almost made that field goal to beat us. But I also remember doing a flip over somebody and then looking at DA and going like this, you know, on the sideline. So I got good memories in there. Also got some bad ones. We couldn't, you know, get 1 yard last year. So I got a lot of memories, but hopefully we have some better ones this year and people aren't screaming at me as much.
Derek, what's the
Last one.
Some familiar faces like Edwards and Abram out here in New Orleans with you?
Oh, it's great. You know, we have some great stories that we can tell, and you know, we've had some funny teammates over the years that guys ask questions about and stuff like that. So it's been fun. And then, you know, my kids, you know, they saw me, but as soon as they saw Foster, my kids took off running to go see Foster. You know, and like Foster. They used to, when Foster would come over to our house in the Vegas, I'd be like, we're all getting ready to go play out, you know, go outside and play pool basketball or something. I'm like, where's Foster? He's in my kids' room and they're playing, you know, NBA Jam or whatever. You know, so Foster is like their best friend. So they were more excited to see him today than me. But it is good to, you know, have friends around. Like my oldest today, he's like, is John here, Dad? I was like, yeah, Abram's here, son. You know, so my kids love it, and obviously I love it because I've been friends with them for years. Cool. Thank y'all.
Thanks, Derek.
Yep.
Thanks, Derek.